Look, I'm not sure a lot of Americans pay much attention to the chatterheads on liberal media who hate President Trump so much that they've become irrational and hysterical. I mean, when the president dismissed Lieutenant Colonel Vindman and his twin brother from their positions in the White House National Security Council office, you would have thought that the president personally went to their desk, grabbed them by the collar, and boot-kicked them out in 3 feet of snow on the White House lawn. It was said to be vindictive, outrageous, unprecedented, unpatriotic, and that was just for starters. Lieutenant Colonel Vindman deserves our respect for his decorated military service. Take nothing from that. What he does not deserve is to be treated like a martyr, yanked from duty because he was just doing his job so wonderfully and better than it had ever been done. And both he and his brother didn't lose their paychecks. They went right back to the Pentagon and never missed a single day of pay or their benefits. What they lost were their positions at the White House on the staff of the National Security Council. Let me tell you, my reaction was not to think that it was so very cruel, but to wonder why it didn't happen sooner and why aren't there more people being ushered out the door who are not loyal to the president. Let me explain something. Vindman was a holdover from the Obama administration. And in sworn testimony before Congress several months ago, his direct supervisor complained to Vindman failing to follow the proper chain of command and seeming to think that the president ought to be taking more policy advice from him. Now, let me explain something. There are two kinds of government employees: civil service employees who are supposedly politically neutral and who have jobs from which they can almost never get fired, even when they should be. In fact, to fire one of them requires cause, and that cause has to be something criminal, egregiously unethical, or grossly insubordinate. And it's still very hard to get rid of them. Then there are those employees who have jobs defined as, quote, serving at the pleasure of the president, end quote. That's a broad definition, but it basically means these are political appointees. They can be terminated without cause. It's literally at the pleasure of the president. And if he has no pleasure with such a person, they can be frog-marched off the grounds because of what they ordered at Waffle House for breakfast. No reason has to be given. When I was governor, I oversaw over 70,000 employees. Most of them were civil service. Honestly, it was easier to get Adam Schiff to decline a TV interview than to fire one of those folks. But there were hundreds of employees that were deemed at will, or who, quote, served at the pleasure of the governor. I could fire them at any time for any reason. I fired quite a few, but not nearly enough, to be honest with you. Presidents and governors, and even mayors for that matter, routinely place political appointees from a previous administration, and no one from the press ever makes a peep about it. On his first day in office, President Obama fired every single U.S. attorney and every ambassador that President Bush appointed. And by the way, Bush got rid of all of Clinton's people. Wasn't a scandal. Folks, elections have consequences, and if you win, you get to put your own team on the field. So stop the crocodile tears about Vindman or anybody else who got sacked. If President Trump has made a mistake, it wasn't cleaning house on day one, which maybe he should have done. But he shouldn't be expected to keep people around him who leak to the press, whine about the decisions of the commander-in-chief, or get upset when the person who went through the rigors of the campaign and actually got elected somehow expect the people getting a paycheck from him to either show some loyalty or get the heck out. If there is one skill Donald Trump brought to the White House, it was one he got really known for on the long-running TV show, The Apprentice. You remember? His signature line was, "You're fired." I honestly think he needs to be saying it a lot more. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, be sure to leave a like, then subscribe, and hit the notification bell below. Now, if you didn't like it, you ought to find a Ben Shapiro video to detox you with more facts.